Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Treasurer Siegel, March report.
I gave the papers with the March numbers on there. I think there were a couple of payouts, the regular retirement payroll, leaving a balance that hopefully matches Rob's report with this. That's really all, but I gave the papers out to whoever needed to see them there.
I'll make a motion to accept the report.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Rob, your report.
Okay, so the starting balance, $36,932,259. We have the participant contributions that match Jay's treasurer's report. We have dividends that we received from the various funds. And then on the next page, cash disbursements, regular retiree payrolls, a few lump sum payouts. So our ending class balance is $36,733,000. $333, I'm sorry. But then if you look at the last page with the numbers, the market value, of course, is what we stay in tune with. And not surprisingly, it's down $2.3 million from the previous month, which is consistent with overall market performance. I think that's about a 4% drop, and overall, the markets were down about 5%. So we're actually a little better off than average.
Questions for the controller? Motion to approve his report.
So moved. Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's see, we had one retirement, nobody vested, nobody passed away, 2 payouts. Were those what were listed there on the, okay, so they're accounted for. I see nothing under old business. New business, obviously we need cash to handle retirement payroll, and with the tax situation, I assume it's time for us to start. We have the funds to do our required contribution, right?
Yeah, and I don't foresee anything big, so just $250 to cover our normal retirement payroll is what I would, I'd make a motion.
Motion
Contribute.
from our funds, to the required contribution then, 250,000, is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any other new business in retirement? Anything for the good of the order in retirement? Motion to adjourn the retirement board meeting.
So moved. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Tim, it's all yours.
And with that, we will now bring the Board of Commissioners meeting to order for April 28th, 2026. We will dispense with the pledge as we have just completed that for retirement. I believe there is a sign-in sheet going around. First item of business will be to approve the minutes of our previous meeting, which was April 14, 2026.
So moved.
Second. Properly moved and second. All in favor? Aye. Next, on to our favorite part of the meeting, the approval of the bills.
Alrighty. The general fund, $1,666,639.05. Hazmat, $2,706.04. 911, $49,443.15. CDBG, $121,606.05. Domestic relations, $1,612.73. And CYS, $392,193.51, for a grand total of $2,234,200.53.
Do I have a motion to approve the bills as presented by Controller Edwards?
So moved.
I'll second.
Properly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Give us just a moment to sign these, folks. Thank you, Controller Edwards.
Thank you.
Next, we will move on to personnel issues. Listed below are the following personnel changes for the Commissioner's approval. A new hire. We have a social service aide under CYS. No transfers. Under separations and retirements, we have part-time corrections officer at the jail effective 2/28/26, and part-time security guard under the commissioners effective 4/29/2026. No FMLA or leave of absence request. Do I have a motion to approve these personnel changes?
So moved.
Second?
Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
We will now move on to public comment. Those of you wishing to comment, you will have 3 minutes. We ask that you please come to the front of the room and identify yourself before beginning your comments.
Okay. So as the three of you know, my name is Bobby Erickson. I thank you for allowing public comment today. I noticed in your recent statements on Moshannon and your contract between Geo and ICE that you often lack the voices of those who are impacted by your decisions. So today I have arranged a phone call with a man who I'm gonna call now. He was recently released from Moshannon and he would like to speak to you about his experiences. Hi, how are you today? Are you there, bud?
I am okay.
Okay. So I'm here, I'm at the meeting. Can you tell me when you were released?
Can he state his name, please?
I was released on the 2nd of March 2026.
Okay, and how would you like to identify yourself?
My initials JN.
JN, for the record?
JN.
Okay,
JN.
perfect. And how long were you detained at Moshannon?
I was at Moshannon for 45 days.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your experiences there?
So, basically, I didn't get the kind of treatment that I would consider as human. First of all, I experienced a lot of medical negligence. I remember this particular morning, I woke up with a really bad headache. It was more like a migraine. I could barely go out of my bunk, but I struggled to reach out to the guard on duty and asking if she could help me with some kind of even basic Tylenol or anything. She told me there was no Tylenol hanging around, but she asked me to put in a request on the tablet. We were about 78 of us in that dormitory in my unit, and there were just 15 tablets available for all 78 of us. So even to get access to a tablet was not easy. So I finally got access to one, and I put in a request. But the nurse or the medical team finally got to me 3 days later. After 3 days of putting in my request, that's when they got back to me. And of course, by then, the headache was gone. I experienced, a few times I had boils, but because of my previous experience with rescue coming after a couple of days, I didn't just bother to report those. I just went through the pain and they went on their own. Then I also had bad experience with the food. Many times the food, or in fact all the time the food was cold. A few times they brought food that wasn't compatible. For instance, they bring rice.
Thank you for your comments.
To eat the rice with. I mean,
Gotta cut it
there were
off.
times I saved my rice for dinner, hoping that we're gonna get something like beans so I could eat food. Then dinner comes and I don't have still anything to eat it with. I end up trashing the rice. So personally, I resulted in buying food from
Hi, my name is Dawn Shields.
just for noodles.
I
lost.
The people in Moshannon are being held under punitive, inhumane, and dangerous conditions. They reported issues ranging from the inability to get medical care to psychological and physical abuse by staff. And it operates more like a prison than it was at this time. It's broken. It's a broken system, and it's not something that can be remediated. It really needs to be closed down at once. There's a story, a person that was held at Moshannon. He was an African immigrant, and he was transferred to Moshannon. His wrists were handcuffed and shackled to his sides, and he was driven hours away from his home on a bus with others who were resigned to the same fate. at the immigration detention. He arrived hungry, unsure of what was going to happen next to him. His son was 2 years old when he was separated from him. 18 months later, he was finally released, and his son was almost 4 years old by that time. And I just want to restate that this is a civil facility. It's not a criminal facility. 70% of the people have no criminal record at all, and some have been in the country for 20 years. This is all that they know. And most of them are asylum seekers that are trying to work their way through a system that is cumbersome and costly. Do you know how much the federal government is paying GEO? Roughly $3.4 million or more per month. And you're paid, what, $200,000 annually. Did you know, and I'm sure you do, that Illinois, Maryland, New Jersey, New Mexico, Washington, and Oregon have all passed legislation to cut ties with ICE and the private prison operators? California, Rhode Island, Delaware, and New York have pending legislation to ban ICE detention centers. So you gentlemen are among an elite group that have decided it's okay to benefit financially from people's suffering. And that's quite a legacy that you're leaving, not just to this county, not just to this town, but to your children and your children's children. Your names will forever be associated with this detention camp. Commissioner Tim Winters, Commissioner John Sobel, and Commissioner Dave Glass. So I would urge you to not renew your contract.
Thank you for your comment.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Moyal. My husband, I'll call him Kay to protect his privacy. He is currently being held at Moshannon Valley Processing Center. He has been there over 14 months with no answers. I tried contacting you guys multiple occasions. I was unable to leave any voicemails. So today I drove 3 hours to speak with all of you. We have purchased a home together, we had a child, and we got married. We've been paying taxes every year. And until our husband was torn away from us unfairly last year on February 24th of 2025, which has left me and my 6-year-old special needs son devastated and traumatized. I would like to personally tell you guys that the people at Moshannon Detention Center are facing horrible conditions that no one should have to go through. There's inaccessible medical care, lack of proper nutrition, and solitary confinement also. He doesn't receive any medication for his pre-existing medical conditions, and he sustains himself on his commissary food and that I work hard to put money on every week just so he can survive. The scariest thing is that we have no status on his case. There are no more answers, there are no more court dates, and we are uncertain on how long he will be living in the conditions. He does have a final order of removal that was issued by the immigration judge after his 9 years of a pending asylum case was denied. And now we don't know, and he's missing all the important milestones of our child's life. I don't know why he's there. We went from complying with his immigration check-ins every 2 years, and he was pulled out by local law enforcement, ending up in immigration custody. Please put yourself in my shoes. How would you feel if your loved ones face these conditions? So again, I'm asking that Moshannon Valley Processing Center should be shut down, and the innocent detainees should be back to their families in the communities, and for our family to receive answers so we can be reunited once and for all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment.
Hi. Chelsea Sweet. My family has lived in Clearfield County since prior to its inception. I'm extremely proud to call this my home, so is she apparently. But I'm ashamed that the reason that the rest of the country is going to learn about Clearfield County, not because of our awe-inspiring natural beauty, but because of the allegations of human rights violations happening in our own backyard. The GEA Group has had issues in many of their facilities regarding inadequate food being served to detainees, with Moshannon Valley Processing Center being no exception.
reports of worms, mold, and unidentified substances found in the food should make even the most cold-hearted recoil. Detainees also report being denied visitations with family and legal representation without just cause, sexual abuse, refusal of medical treatment, verbal and physical abuse by the guards. I personally would like to know why the people detained at Moshannon Valley Processing Center are put into solitary confinement for alarming lengths of time at the highest rate in the nation. We are treating people, many who came to the United States legally and have never committed a crime, worse than the way we treat those held in our state prisons. People deserve dignity even during incarceration and detainment. They have the right to fair treatment. I'm gonna skip part of this. I don't know how much time I have. I do not want to be remembered as the townspeople who turned their head and looked the other way while people were living in hell just a few miles away out of our public sight. Many of us in the community were oblivious when the prison in Phillipsburg became an immigrant detention center, but we can claim ignorance no longer. We must end Clearfield County's contract with the GEO Group for the moral integrity and legacy of our community.
Thank you for your comments.
Commissioners, thank you for your time. My name is Daisy Clark, and I am a resident of Clearfield County. I appreciate the eye contact I'm getting from you, Commissioner. I was seeing you making eye contact with everybody, and I really appreciate that. Today, I want to talk about suicide. It doesn't occur in mentally healthy people, and hope is not abundant in detention centers, as one can imagine, due to lack of due process, lack of speaking English. We have some staff that only speaks English. We have poor conditions and treatment of the detainees due to systematic racism, staff ideals, lack of staffing, inadequate medical care and response to the health emergencies. Furthermore, certain psychiatric and sedative medications, when stopped suddenly, can trigger brain injury and carry a risk of suicidal ideation or attempts. No oversight being utilized, as in Congress being turned away when present for a visit, such as when Representative Summer Lee was here in August of 2025. We also have a chaplain whose primary purpose to offer hope and a spiritual path has had multiple accusations of sexual assault, and he is still working at the facility. According to EMS data, since opening, there have been 8 confirmed suicide attempts at the Moshannon Valley Processing Center. And as a mother who lost a son to suicide, I can attest to the lasting devastation that it causes. On April 22nd, it was reported on the Du Bois PA Live Wire Facebook page that a detainee at Moshannon Valley attempted to cause the death of themselves by hanging, and this occurred after a hunger strike had started. Those who the staff determined had started the hunger strike were placed in solitary confinement. Instead of being asked why they started the hunger strike and working out a solution. I'm disgusted that this is happening in the county that I was raised in, and I believe that we're better than this. I believe that we are better than this, and warehouse facilities they're built for storing products, not people. Thank you for your time.
I guess I'm William. I'm a resident of Phillipsburg, but I'm right along the border of Clearfield. I live 3 houses down, so I'm close. But first, I want to ask the commissioners and the room a question. I don't want you to separate some church and state. I don't need you to answer. I want to ask, how many of you are Christian? How many of you believe? I'm going to read a passage from the book Matthew 25, 40 through 45, the New International Version translation. The king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for the least of these brothers and sisters, you did for me. Then he will say to those on his left, depart from me, you who are accursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me. They will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or needing clothes, or sick and in prison, and did not help you? He will reply, truly, I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of these least, you did not do for me. The passage is not complicated. I don't think it mixes messages. Other people might here show you what's happening at the facility is wrong, but I have one final comment. A king may move a man, a father may claim a son, but remember, even when those who move you be they kings or men of power, your soul is in your keeping and your keeping alone. When you stand before God, you cannot say, but I was told by others to do this, or that virtue was not convenient at the time. This will not suffice. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Hi, I'm Kelly Kennedy, and I'm Clearfield resident of Clearfield County, and I'd like you all to be aware of my concerns in regards to the contract and the private prison GEO has with ICE. I believe it's in the best interest of Clearfield County to immediately end Clearfield County's involvement. We want to be proud of our county. We want people to come here and see the beautiful nature around us, not to be known for this. Not only is it near constant awful press coming out of this facility, I'm worried about their treatment in there. Nobody being able to go in, see them, check on it. Just the food, it's the safety. They under state regulations, like everyone else, to have the food inspected in the kitchen. Anybody know an answer? Because I'd like to know if they get inspected, on a regular basis, like everybody else does if you own something and you're putting food out. Does this constantly babysitting this facility take away from the jobs of representatives? What you could be doing instead of listening to us or hearing what's going on there. You have jobs, very important jobs to do. But we don't want no part of this. Our county doesn't want no part of this. And when we stood up before we started and did pledge allegiance to the flag. When we said liberty and justice for all, did you guys all mean that? Because I do. It means a lot to me. When I say the Pledge of Allegiance, I mean what I say. And liberty and justice for all is the way it should be. And this is not. This is something our county should not be involved in. Thank you.
My name is Luther Jett, and I'm a member of the Phillipsburg Borough Council. Now, the council's always telling me I'm not representing the Borough Council, but we're seeing a lot of stuff over there. And if even a little bit of this is true, I think we have a big problem. And, of course, I'm an old media person, I read the Progress. And the Progress started out, I don't think they were reporting on this at all, but lately they seem to have caught up to the reporting. And the reporting, I have to say, is not too good. Now I shouldn't say we, but some of the members of the Borough Council in Phillipsburg will welcome anybody who wants to come over there. We've had these demonstrations, and I think we should have a few more maybe. I'm I want to commend Commissioner Glass for your courageous and principled stand, and I think it's a very good stand. I know Mr. Sobel told me, I really don't understand, I'm not asking for an explanation now, because if it's explained to me 25 times, I won't understand how the county commissioners are mixed up in this. But at any rate, you seem to have this power of veto, but I think Mr. Sobel said, even if you should vote against the extension of the contract, it would still happen? Is that the idea? I think so. But at any rate, I don't think you should vote in favor of it. And I will welcome anybody to Phillipsburg who wants to come over and talk about it. 301 Phillips.
Hello, my name is Maddie Rath, and I am a Elk County resident. And I'd like you all to be aware of my concerns in regards to the contract with the private prison GO and the group ICE. I believe it is in the best interest of Clearfield County to immediately end Clearfield County's involvement with this extremely problematic facility. It is not only a facility that brings shame and inhuman acts to this county, but it also affects every other county in our state. Not only is this near constant awful press coming out of this prison, sorry, I'm trying to keep my feelings under control. Not only is this near constant awful press coming out of this prison detrimental to local businesses and our reputation, it impacts tourism long term. We do not want to be known as a town that allows this. Local EMS and police are already strained due to budget cuts. And can you assure residents that all the resources this facility requires is not impacting our care? I demand my local representatives do real work on this. Can you provide good jobs? These are not good jobs. What could this facility bring to actually serve our community? Have any of you had these conversations? Does constantly babysitting this facility take away from your jobs as our representatives to help serve your community? Thank you.
Thank you.
I can go do it. Are you back? Yeah, unless you're. I'll be back.
Good morning. My name is Cher Sheets, and I am a hospice chaplain here in Clearfield. I do not represent the company that I work for. I feel like that's probably something that should go on record. I'm going to speak from my heart, and then I'm going to finish with reading somebody else's prepared statements that are probably more eloquent. In my work as a hospice chaplain, I have the great opportunity of entering into our nursing facilities and walking the halls where vulnerable folks in our community are housed. Some of you might be familiar with people who are in these nursing facilities who used to live at home with their families. This is one of the ways that our society structures the needs of the vulnerable, and the prisoner is also a vulnerable member of our community. I ask you to imagine if there were reports of abuse, neglect. If you went to visit a loved one in a nursing facility and they told you that they were being abused, that they told you that there were rot in their food, that there was worms in their food, would you ask the facility management if that was true or not and then accept those statements separate from what your loved one told you? Or would you investigate further? Would you share a meal with your family member? Is that something you can do? Can you go to GEO and share a meal with these prisoners? Can you physically go in and walk around and experience a day in a life? I don't know what you're doing, guys. Like, what are you doing? What is your legacy here? What is our legacy that you're allowing to be part of this community's legacy? The vulnerable among us deserve dignity. They deserve protection. They deserve care. And you have an amazing opportunity to affect change, to affect care, to impact the lives of vulnerable human beings. And I ask you to do everything in your power to ensure that the people under your care are being treated with dignity and respect. Do not turn a blind eye to abuse. You have the opportunity to do something here, and I ask you to do it. I strongly encourage you to go beyond relying solely on information provided by facility staff to gain a complete and accurate understanding of conditions. It's essential to speak directly with detainees themselves as well as with their families.
Thank you for your comments.
You're welcome, Mr. Winters. Oh, sure.
Hello again, Commissioners. Kaylee McLaughlin. I am the co-founder of Indivisible Outcry in Clarion, and I also work with the Shutdown Detention Campaign. And I'm here because honestly, I'm offended by the statement that you released after the reports of the hunger strike last week. It is, if that is not victim blaming, that is the cousin of victim blaming. And as a woman, once upon a time, I was a pretty good looking young woman 20 years ago. I know what that's like, quite a bit. You are getting these reports of poor conditions for years now from different people, different units, different pods. Like, where is the logic in taking and completely saying that you don't believe those, that they are exaggerated? I only exaggerate for comic relief, and this is nothing, there's nothing funny about this. Nothing I say is an exaggeration, I will promise you that. I choose to believe the people that are telling me these statements. There are so many of them. You are hearing them all the time, and I just can't believe it. I think that you are normalizing something that shouldn't be normalized. There are so many people that I hear all the time thinking that people deserve that kind of treatment. Nobody deserves that kind of treatment. I don't care. Well, how you treat people says more about you than it does about them. The worst people don't deserve spoiled food, sleeping in the cold without pillows, and all of these things that we have proven to you over and over again that they are lying to you about. And I think it's time you maybe start trusting us and trusting the people that live there a little more than you trust a 7-day prior notification guided tour, the word of people who definitely want to keep their jobs, like the warden, of course. That's probably about all I have, but I'm telling you what, I'm steaming. What I also have to deliver you here are 3 letters from local residents that could not be here today. I would like to deliver those to you.
Thank you. Do we have any further public comment?
There are some from other people. Yes, public comments. Okay, I thought there were, okay.
Okay, thank you. We'll next move on to our agenda items. Gentlemen, any old business to come before the board today?
No.
Seeing none, we will move on to the first of several proclamations. I believe we have Brittany Blackburn here with us to tell us a little bit about National Foster Care Month, which will be May of 2026. Brittany, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So thank you for this opportunity to speak today. My name is Brittany, and I am the foster care program manager at Children's Aid Society, and I do have a couple members of my team here. Taylor made it. I have Kim Olson, Amanda Clark, and Taylor Voss is also here. We all work alongside children and families involved in foster care here in Clearfield County through our agency. We are one of many other agencies who provide these services to the youth in the area. So I'm here to respectfully request your support in proclaiming May as National Foster Care Month in Clearfield County. I could spout off the stats like I typically do. Those really haven't changed much, unfortunately, over the years. But there are still approximately 400,000 youth in foster care in the state of Pennsylvania, and hundreds of those youth are being served here in Clearfield County. Foster care is often misunderstood as something that's handled by agencies or by a system, and when in reality, it takes a community, and it takes a village. That belief is the heart of our Be the Village campaign and message that we are sharing throughout the community, because no child thrives in isolation, and no foster family should walk this journey alone. Children and youth enter foster care through circumstances typically that are beyond their control, and what makes a difference for them is having not just a positive placement, but connection and knowing that their community cares, supports, and shows up for them in meaningful ways. Through Be the Village, we recognize foster parents and kinship caregivers, but we also need to recognize those in the community who do support the foster care system. That can be teachers, neighbors, coaches, faith leaders, other businesses, caseworkers, and volunteers who support the foster families with encouragement and stability. When a community embraces this shared responsibility, children are better supported, families are stronger, and outcomes improve. Proclaiming May as National Foster Care Month would send a clear message that Clearfield County understands this responsibility and values the role every resident can play in supporting children and families. It raises awareness, invites involvement, and reinforces that foster care is not someone else's issue, and it's a community effort. On behalf of the children and families we serve, I respectfully ask to proclaim May as National Foster Care Month and to stand with us in encouraging our community to be the village that every child deserves. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your continued support for the children and families in this community.
Thank you, Brittany, and thank you to Children's Aid Society for all that you do. I will now read into the record the proclamation of May 2026 as National Foster Care Month. Whereas the family, serving as the primary source of love, identity, self-esteem, and support, is the very foundation of our communities and our state. And whereas nationally there are more than 400,000 children and youth in foster care, 14,000 in Pennsylvania. And whereas all young people in foster care need meaningful connection to someone who can support a lasting presence in their lives. And whereas foster, kinship, and adoptive families who open their hearts and homes to children whose families are in crisis play a vital role in helping children and families heal and reconnect, thereby launching young people into successful adulthood. Whereas there are numerous individuals, public and private individuals, who work to increase public awareness of the needs of children in and leaving foster care, as well as the enduring and valuable contribution of foster parents and the foster care system, it is only as good as those who choose to be part of it. Now, therefore, the Commissioners of Clearfield County do hereby proclaim May as National Foster Care Month in Clearfield County and urge all citizens to come forward and do something positive that will change a lifetime for a young person in foster care. Gentlemen, do I have a motion to accept this proclamation?
So moved. I'll second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. If we have some representatives, Brittany, representatives from Children's Aid Society would like to get a photo, we will have signed proclamations here for you.
Brittany, do you? Actually, yes.
Hello.
One, two, three, guys. Of course I have my brush on.
And don't move after I take the picture, right?
Yes. fantastic. Thank you so much for
Appreciate it.
everything the Children's Aid Society does.
Taylor Ross,
Taylor?
yes,
Last name?
ROSS,
And what's your position and title?
permanency worker? Yeah.
What is it?
Permanency worker?
Oh, permanency worker.
Yeah.
Any other?
Kim Olson,
Can you spell the first name?
Kim.
Oh, C-I-M.
K-I-M,
O-L-S.
S-O-N,
And title?
same title,
Same.
permanency worker.
Amanda Clark,
And,
administrative assistant.
and,
Brittany Blackburn, B-R-I-T-T-A-N-Y,
and what's your title?
foster care program manager.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. See you.
And next on the agenda, we are going to proclaim May as Mental Health and Stigma Awareness Month, and I believe we have Mary Brown with us today.
Mary Brown's not here, myself and Brooke are here.
Okay, come up front, please, if you want to.
Good morning. My name is Holly Knoll. I serve as the secretary for Kick the Stigma. This is Brooke Gunning. She's our board president for Kick the Stigma. We're a nonprofit organization dedicated to help mental health awareness in our community and keep the wellness. In addition to our work with Kick the Stigma, we've been actively involved in the community development, oh my goodness, youth and outreach and wellness initiatives throughout our region, including right here in Clearfield County. The community has always been an important part of our personal and professional lives. Kick the Stigma is committed to breaking the silence surrounding mental health. We work to create a safe space, provide accessible wellness resources, and connect individuals and families with supports they need. Each year, we host a large community wellness event at Du Bois Memorial Park. This year, it will be on May 30th. We feature kickball, pickleball tournaments, mental health speakers, live music and food trucks, youth art contests, and over 30 mental health providers and wellness resources.
We want to invite each of you guys to be able to be there, and if the proclamation is granted, we would love somebody to read that proclamation at the event. Thank you. This event continues to grow thanks to the strong participation in both Clearfield and Jefferson counties, including the Drug and Alcohol Commission, the Community Connections, Penn Highlands, the YMCA, and so many other local communities that have really brought themselves together to help with this space that we provide.
We hope to expand our presence in Clearfield County through satellite events, school presentation, offering education and trainings to local business and organizations, as well as community wellness and fairs. We seek opportunity to replicate successful models such as the WPAL free youth gym access to promote fitness, discipline, and safe alternatives to risky behaviors. We are eager to collaborate with schools, law enforcement, community organizations, and businesses, and community leaderships to strengthen mental health support for residents of all ages.
Right now, we are in the Du Bois Area School District. We hope to grow that into the Clearfield and Jefferson areas as well.
We welcome your help connecting with school boards, youth programs, and local businesses to provide support in their acknowledging mental health. Support and sharing information through our community communication channels would help us reach families, individuals, and businesses who may benefit from our resources.
So for this facility support, we want to gain access to like parks, gyms, public spaces, stuff like that, so we can partner with them and allow us to bring more programming directly to the Clearfield counties. We are collaborating with grants, and we're interested in partnering with different funding opportunities that are related to mental health, youth safety, and community wellness. Eventually, once our organization grows, as of last year, we are now a nonprofit. We would love to offer grants and scholarships for those things, but we need to get that funding and opportunities to be able to do that. So our request is for a county recognized day of bonus for Kick the Stigma. We would like to respectfully request your consideration in establishing a Clearfield County Day of Bonus as well. This would serve as a meaningful reminder for residents to pause, check in with themselves, and prioritize their mental and emotional well-being in all areas. It would also reinforce the county's commitment to supporting health, resilience, and in our community. So if you would, to recognize May as Mental Health Awareness Month, we also ask for your support in recognizing May as the Stigma Awareness Month for Clearfield County. Our message is very clear, to ensure that no one in our communities ever feels that they have to struggle alone. With your partnership, we can expand our reach to kick the stigma through Clearfield County and building lasting wellness opportunities for youth, families, and first responders. We're not asking for much, simply the opportunity to collaborate and your support in making mental health a visible, shared priority across the community. We want to thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you for the explanation of your organization and some background on what you're doing. It is now my pleasure to read into the record the proclamation. May is Mental Health and Stigma Awareness Month in Clearfield County, Pennsylvania. Whereas mental health is an essential part of overall well-being, impacting individuals, families, communities across Clearfield County, Pennsylvania. And whereas 1 in 5 American adults experiences a mental health condition each year, and 1 in 6 youth ages 6 to 17 experience a mental health disorder. And everyone faces challenges in life that can impact their mental health. And whereas early intervention, open conversation, and access to quality care and resources are critical to managing mental health conditions and improving the quality of life. And whereas the month of May is recognized nationally as Mental Health Awareness Month, providing an opportunity to raise awareness, reduce stigma, and promote available mental health supports and resources within our community. And whereas the Kick the Stigma Day of Wellness, scheduled for May 30, 2026, at Du Bois City Park, provides an opportunity for individuals and families to engage in wellness activities, education, and community connection while reinforcing the importance of mental health awareness and stigma reduction for people of all ages. Now, therefore, we, the Clearfield County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Mental Health and Stigma Awareness Month in Clearfield County, Pennsylvania. Together we can continue building a community where individuals feel empowered to prioritize their mental wellness and access to support without fear or judgment. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set hands and caused the seal of Clearfield County, Pennsylvania to be affixed this 28th day of April 2026. Gentlemen, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We will have you sign proclamation here. If you would like photos.
Yes.
Anyone want me to take a photo with your phone?
Yes. Thank you.
And don't move, I have to get your names.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll go with you first.
Holly, Holly. Last name is Knoll, Knoll.
And what's your title?
I'm the board secretary.
Rob,
Brooke, B-R-O-O-K-E.
tell the TV guys to stick around. I'm gonna have a statement for them.
N-N-I-N-G.
Okay.
I-N-G.
Okay. And your title?
Board president.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, ladies, very much.
Thank you.
I will,
Thank you very much.
I'm planning to be there on the 30th.
It's my anniversary, so I don't think
I'll probably,
It's okay,
I'm sure I'll swing up there.
Thank you.
guys.
I may not, I don't know what time, but we'll definitely.
We'll be all back.
kickball
tournament
with your wife.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
On opposite teams.
Yeah.
Yes. Or a
You know, we
pickleball,
talked
go
about this
back
the
and
other day, and
forth.
she made it clear she wants to not be home that day.
Well, you won't be
Not
home.
sure where we'll
She'll
be.
be
She'll
on
be in
the
the
pickleball
park.
court.
She won't be home.
Du Bois Park.
Yes, she'll be at an event, so that would be.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're gonna move on to item 3 now. And this is a yearly proclamation that we do here. It's the proclamation of May as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. I do not believe we have a representative here. Sometimes we will have a representative from ABATE.
Didn't see anybody.
but I will read the proclamation of Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month into the record. Whereas the safety of all Pennsylvania motorists is an issue of the highest consequence, and all highway users should unite in the safe sharing of roadways throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of recreation and transportation for thousands of people across the Commonwealth and our great nation, the Commonwealth's 838,000 licensed motorcyclists are required to keep their vehicles inspected and obey current laws relative to operator safety equipment. And whereas in efforts to reduce the number of motorcycle crashes and fatalities, the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation encourages all motorcyclists to take advantage of the free training courses throughout Pennsylvania's motorcycle safety program and to be one less crash statistic. Whereas it is especially important that the citizens of our Commonwealth be aware of motorcycles on the streets and highways and recognize the importance of staying alert, practicing safe driving techniques, and promoting motorcycle safety. And whereas during the month of May, the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, the Alliance of Bikers Aimed Towards Education, and the Pennsylvania Motorcycle Dealers Association will continue their advocacy of motorcycle safety. Gentlemen, do I have a motion to accept this proclamation of May as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. More for you.
Moving on to agenda item number 4, consider a memorandum of understanding transportation procedures agreement with the Phillipsburg Osceola School District. We'll turn this over to Solicitor Bozovich.
Thank you. Every few years, we update these with the various school districts throughout the county. The memorandum of understanding in the transportation plan essentially on a case-by-case basis when there are children in foster care who for various reasons may need to stay in their home school district. This sets forth how the school as well as CYS is going to work together in order to accomplish that. So this one, as stated, is with Phillipsburg Osceola. It's a 3-year agreement, very similar to what we've had with them in the past. And there have been no issues with those plans. So that has been approved as to its form this morning.
I'll move to approve it.
Second.
Properly moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, moving on to item 5, consider the appointment of Lakeisha Carr to the CEDS committee.
I think it's NAR.
Yeah.
Nar? Lakeisha Nar, I apologize for the mispronunciation, the silent K got me there. And the standard appointment to the CEDS committee, do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Properly moved and second, and thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, item 6, consider whether Clearfield County should participate in the proposed national opioid litigation settlement with 6 remnant defendants. I'm going to turn this one, I believe, over to John, who has some more background in this.
Thank you, Tim. Yes, there has been a proposed national settlement with 6 of the few remaining defendants in the opioid litigation that's been going on nationally for the past several years. The proposed settlement that was, I believe, was worked out by the various states' attorney generals in the country, although I have been advised by D'Amico and D'Amico, our attorneys, they were really not involved in the process. The proposal is that the 6 companies will make a combined total payment of $97,625,000 to abate the opioid epidemic. There would be a one-time payment to all participating entities, municipalities, if it's approved. Interestingly enough, I was given the opportunity to review the list of proposed participating municipalities. Clearfield County and the Clearfield County District Attorney's Office are included. However, excluded from the same are the various states' attorney general's offices and also the various states, even though it's believed, at least by our attorneys, that that's who arranged for the proposal. And again, there will be a formulaic methodology to decide how much Clearfield County's share would be of that. Recommendation from D'Amico and D'Amico is to participate the longer litigation goes on. the smaller the, pot is that we're able to receive monies from. My advice is also that we do so.
Sorry, John.
No, that's okay, Lisa.
How many,
Go ahead.
so the 97 million, is that a national figure?
That's a national
So,
figure.
it sounds like a lot, it's not gonna be a lot.
Very much, so, and it'll shrink if we litigate.
What's the over-under on
continue to litigate.
$12?
Well,
Yeah.
over, but not, but
Not significantly.
Yeah. Heather, did you get, I know you were gonna take a look at
Yeah,
that.
I took a look. It's very general right now. As you stated, it just provided the figure. We've had a few of these that have come before us, and then as stated, just the percentages obviously get knocked way down. But D'Amico and D'Amico, who is our outside counsel in this matter, they've recommended we take it, just to, again, not
hey, something's
continue
better
to
than
incur
nothing.
costs.
I
It
mean,
really is, yeah. And the uses would be the same as with the other.
and we've certainly got no shortage of uses, so.
And there is a May 4th deadline that
Yes.
that he needs to notify them in order to participate,
And
so.
and also, I'd ask that I be authorized to execute the electronic signature and related.
You're being authorized to do something electronic?
Well, Lisa is my right-hand lady.
In the interest, in the
We will figure it out.
In
It does
the-
make the most sense.
In
for
the
me.
interest of moving this along, I will make the motion that Clearfield County participate in the proposed national opioid litigation settlement, and Commissioner Sobel has our delegated authority
I'll
to
second.
sign.
Thank you.
Properly moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
We can debate electronic prowess later.
Well, like I said, Lisa's standing right there.
We will now move on to item 7 on the agenda, purchase of service agreement, and this is with Community Haven Group Home Incorporated and a subset of Catherine Serbic, PhD.
They're two separate, they're
Okay,
two separate,
Two
yes.
separate agreements.
The first one with Community Haven Group Home, this is a newer agreement. This is a facility that's a 24-hour residential care facility specifically for ages 12 through 18 with behavioral, different levels of behavioral needs. So we had they're based out of Philadelphia, CYS. Obviously, we have to have an agreement in place once there's a considered placement. So it is our standard form agreement, but it is with a newer provider. So that agreement has been approved as to form. And then the second agreement is with Catherine Serbeck. She completes psychosexual evaluations. She does them both as offenders and perpetrators as well as on victims in the trauma side when needed. So we have just recently, within the last year or two, contracted with her.
Read your writing.
For when services are needed. But again, that's our standard professional services agreement as well, with CYS and juvenile probation, so.
Should we
Did I spell that incorrect? Is it
It's
SURBECK?
Okay. Should we treat these as two separate?
Do two separate.
Okay, first, approve purchase service agreement for Community Haven Homes Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, enter into a service agreement with Catherine Serbeck, PhD, for counseling services related to CYS.
So moved.
I'll second.
Properly moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Do we have anything from the solicitor in addition to,
Nothing new to come before.
I have,
Mr. Glass?
just a very brief election update that I would appreciate the press to mention that we have processed all of the mail-in ballots that were received up until a couple days ago, so people should be getting those in the mail. We encourage those to be returned as soon as possible. We've been monitoring the fact that the Postal Service has said that they're a little slower than in the past in turning these around, so don't wait till the last minute to get it in. Remember, it has to be in our hands by 8 o'clock on Election Day. Anything past that, and it won't count. So, other than that, elections are moving very smoothly. In fact, yesterday and today, we're testing and validating our machines with the test ballots, so we anticipate no problems.
On an added election note, May 4th is the last day to register to participate in the municipal primary election.
May 12th is the last day for a mail-in ballot.
Last day
Don't
to-
wait until May 12th.
Yeah, May 12th is the last day to request a mail-in ballot. Please don't wait till that period in time.
For your own sake, it's not that we lack capacity, we're worried about the mail turnaround times.
Postal Service cannot guarantee your ability to participate in the election. Gentlemen, anything else to come before the board this morning?
Are we still in session?
Yes,
Luther Jet again. I just want to thank all three commissioners for your attention to this poor man I picked up on the way to Altoona who was hitchhiking from, he had been released from jail over here.
Oh, that was you,
yes,
Yeah,
and that is a,
You've taken the ball and run with it. I've been reading about that in the progress too. So
yes,
thank
we
you
are,
very
we are
much.
working
Yeah,
on,
that's a work in progress.
we're working
Yep.
on a resolution to
Should be
that
on.
issue.
Yeah, we're meeting later this month to discuss
Okay,
this.
gentlemen, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved in second, all in favor? Aye. Media questions here.
I do. First of all, on the detention, Shannon Valley Detention Facility, do any of you have any comment or reaction to the statements here today?
I think we did well.
I do, and one of the things that they mentioned was the amount of time that this has taken out of our day, and the spreading of misinformation has led to that. There was no hunger strike at the facility. We are in constant contact with facility management. Less than 10% of people missed one meal. And the feeding frenzy of people with their own agendas, with their problems with immigration policy, it does take away from our day-to-day business because we have to address concerns that are often unfounded and illegitimate and by people who have never set foot in the facility. We have a very open relationship. Any one of us can contact any one of management there. That's my statement.
You have anything to add? I guess I'll just say, I mean, I'm on record, I'm not gonna vote for renewal of the contract. I've stated reasons before, but another one is to Tim's point to it, I mean, we agree and disagree on certain aspects, but this is not the position the county should be in. We do not have the time, we do not have the bandwidth to properly be we can't do true oversight, we know this. So, this is not what I think.
But I think people are also under the misconception that we could snap our fingers and close this facility.
Well, and I was gonna get to that, but, yeah, I mean, first of all, when we were asked to do this by the Biden administration, I might add, it was never any thought that it would become what it's, that it would become this much of a controversy, for lack of a better term, this much work, this much, concern about what's happening there. And then I do want to address the idea that, and I know a lot of people have said this, that if we terminate our contract, that the facility will just close. I have yet to see any evidence that that's true. I mean, this administration, wherever you feel about it, I see no indication that the Trump administration would say, oh, Clearfield County's not interested anymore, I guess we'll just take our ball and go home. They're opening places left and right. I don't understand why they would do that. Now, that's not a reason that we should be involved. I'm not saying that, and I'm very upset about a lot of immigration policy, but I want to, deal in reality, and I just don't think we have the power to close it. I just don't.
Yeah, I guess maybe I do want to add one thing if I could. There does seem to be some folks concerned that we're not concerned about events at GEO. I do want to mention that if we are, as was mentioned by Commissioner Winters, we regularly are in contact with administration at GEO. GEO does keep us advised when something happens there that they feel we should know about. They do let us know, and we do have discussion with them. And the other thing is too, we do, if we receive information that causes us any concern, we do contact GEO and do speak to administration there to I believe our satisfaction. And so I do want to emphasize that we do keep an eye on what's going on there, and I think and when we have concerns, we're very quick to voice them, and they're very quick to respond. So I think there is a good back and forth relationship right now.
Oh, and outside that, I believe all of us know people that are employed there on various sides of the political spectrum. If there were people being tortured, abused, we would know because we are in communication with people who work there on a daily basis. So many of these stories grow legs of their own and become much larger than they started out, and that does take our time to address these things. So, anything else on that, gentlemen? You gotta have other questions,
do.
Jeff. You got,
On the same thought, do any of you have any concern about the care people who are being detained there are getting?
I believe most of the population there gets probably better care than they got on the outside, as far as there is medical, there is dental, there is psych on site. We have seen these, we've talked to the people that work there, we know the people that work in the medical department. There's a lot of things being overblown here.
It's really hard in our situation. You've got 1,400 detainees coming in and out very quickly, so over 10,000 in a year. For us, I mean, we hear the allegations, and I take them very seriously. I mean, every time I hear something like this, I'm very concerned. But for us to do a full investigation on every one of these, we don't have time, we don't have, we at some point, we have to trust the people that we're in business with. Now, I don't want to be in this business anymore, I've said that, but while we are, we can walk around, we have walked around, and I could walk around there tomorrow, but I'm not gonna be there every day. And that's really what's required for the level of oversight that I think some folks think is, and frankly, this is a federal issue. And I think that we need to really push the fact that this is a federal facility with federal oversight and federal inspectors in there, by all accounts, pretty regularly. And, if we don't trust what they're saying, okay. But that's a big issue, right? If everybody's lying, then that's bad.
But, yeah, and that's why with so many outside agencies, between DHS, Federal Bureau of Prisons, there is a lot of oversight there.
There is, a lot beyond us, and
I can't picture everybody lying in
that's
this situation.
that is their job. They exist, a lot of these positions exist specifically for this purpose. And, I mean, I get it. And look, we have a county prison, and not everything is peaches and cream all the time there, too, and we investigate a lot of people who with different complaints, some founded, some not, with different things, and it's always gonna be hard. And it's just another reason I really don't wanna be in the middle of this anymore.
I said, the bottom line is, we do not set federal immigration policy.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Could I ask I saw in the progress that the county gets $200,000 a year for what purpose is that? Is it true, for one thing?
It's true.
It's true.
And
It's just an administration fee basically for all this, plus acting as a pass-through. I mean,
Yeah.
basically the money comes from ICE to us, to GEO, and we are simply a pass-through minus that 200,000.
so it's basically federal money.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
It's the methodology that has to be followed by law to allow.
By the way, the law was set up under the Biden administration, and between right to know request and added time, but people fixate on that $200,000 number. The economic impact of that facility to the area is right in the neighborhood of $40 million, with 408 full-time GEO employees, another 24 ICE employees, puts payroll a little over 37 million, and that stays here in the local area. And add on to that, then their transportation part of the GEO group is based out of here. So it's hard to pin a number on the total economic impact of the facility, but it is in excess of $40 million to the central Pennsylvania area.
But that would be the same all over the country, then it's like a Bureau of Prisons that give you the check for $200,000. Somewhere it comes from the federal government, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's Bureau of Prisons.
No, it's not Bureau of Prisons, this is under DHS.
Yeah, I think it's Homeland Security.
Any other media questions?
Yeah. Jeff, to answer your question, I think, I am satisfied that they're receiving proper care, put it simply, at this point, from what I know and from what I've observed.
There's been some reports of overcrowding at the facility. Do you believe there's any overcrowding?
Absolutely not.
Well, it's designed for 1,800 and it has 1,400.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when we were there,
I think the highest I've seen is what, 1660
Yeah.
is
I
the
mean,
number I've
it's
seen.
I'm not saying it's not crowded, it's crowded,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
to say it's overcrowded would mean it's beyond its,
And it's a big facility.
Big.
I
Well,
mean,
that's
there's a
why
lot of
they have,
acres.
that's why they have 2 soccer fields.
Yeah.
They're still not allowing that congressperson to look at the facility.
No idea.
Not our department.
yeah, that's not our.
Actually,
But
and
I mean,
actually,
I guess they haven't, right?
yeah.
Various congresspeople and state representatives have been to the
Yeah,
facility.
and actually, I think that's a good point, and I think it was Dave made this earlier, you know, I think folks are dealing with local government over a federal issue. I do think, you know, I really do think that, perhaps the direction should shift a bit, because it is under federal control, subject to federal regulation, federal rules. And I think dealing with, you're kind of missing the mark dealing with Clearfield County. It really should be, the dealing should be with the federal government.
I mean, we have a contract, so I understand why
Sure.
folks come here, we're the local
Exactly,
representatives, I
right.
get it, but I do feel that these same arguments should be made to our federal representatives.
That was going to be my
Okay.
question and or point. So you take away the contract locally, there is no local oversight.
There would be,
Correct.
Theoretically.
That's actually the point I was trying to make to
And
you,
I've-
sir, when
So
you and I.
careful what you wish for.
I have tried to make this point, while we don't have authority, we are at least involved in the process.
Right.
Should we not have
Have
that
a contract.
contractual arrangement, we wouldn't get a call when something happened there. We wouldn't be able to make a call and say, hey, we heard this, what's going on? We would be out.
No different than the rest of us.
Is it the ideal thing to have? Absolutely not. Does federal immigration policy need reformed? I'm on my soapbox now. Yes, it does.
I think
This
we all
is,
agree with that.
this is what we have. We maintain at least a small seat at the table where we can have this public forum. If we did not, you wouldn't have this public forum. Nobody would know what's going on there. We do our part, all 3 of us, regardless of political party. We take this seriously. We do our diligence. We've been there multiple times. Direct your ire. If you don't like the policy, we're not the policy people. We're the guys on the ground.
Have you had conversations with inmates? Have you personally talked to people?
Yes, I have, ma'am.
He has, I
What was
have.
that like?
The gentleman, what it was some of the folks from Indivisible Mayday facilitated a conversation over the phone. And it was a litany of complaints that, and I don't mean by that to imply that he wasn't sincere, but the gentleman gave me a list of complaints. I did then contact administration and discuss them with them. I found that their response was the exact opposite of what the gentleman was complaining about, which happens frequently, and then we have to somehow sort that out when we get involved. There were a couple of things I made some suggestions to, in other words, I thought that maybe a couple of things that he was asking for were not unreasonable, and I believe they accommodated one of them, if I remember correctly.
Was that the schedule on the website thing?
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
and I believe another one of the issues was
Yeah.
the pillow issue.
Yeah.
That's a non-issue. Nobody gets pillows in a detention or prison type setting. They're built into the mattress. So when you hear, oh, they don't get pillow, nobody does. County, nobody. Pillows, that's a non-issue, but it's something that it gins people up. But that is something you mentioned, and they gave a very thorough explanation of how that works. We have our new priority media with us today, being the strong silent guy there. Do you have anything?
I think everything I wanted to ask has been answered already.
Other media questions?
No, I just asked for
Welcome.
you after.
Okay.
Yeah.
One quick thing, under this contract, the county has no oversight authority on
But
this
we
facility.
have no authority,
No
but we
authority.
are included
And they,
And we have an open line of communication.
yeah, I can't emphasize enough.
It's more of a communication thing, there's nothing you could do.
Yeah,
about it.
administration at GEO, to my experience at least, and I think, I don't wanna speak for the guys, but I think they share my, in large part, at least share my feeling, has been, pretty open and cooperative, at least in my opinion. We, you know, I know they don't always, oftentimes their explanation or their version of what's going on is different than the complaints that have been lodged. But most of the time, I find, they have a pretty good explanation as to why they do what they do, or how they handle things. And like I said, there was at least one instance where they did accommodate us, you know, as far as a request to change something they do.
I know, we could go to our county facility, which I think is well-run and we're very diligent about, but we could get a litany of complaints if we took a survey there as well. That is part of the nature of being incarcerated in whatever shape or form.
Do you think inmates deserve to be treated with dignity?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
that's not even in question.
Yeah.
And you've had one conversation with one inmate directed by somebody else, but you have initiated conversations with the management and ownership of the facility.
We depend on
Is that
them. We're not going to get direct access to a lot of different inmates. That's not very likely.
Could
to
you not if
happen.
you wanted to?
I mean, we have walked through those facilities, and it's not like they were in a big hurry to talk to us, I'll tell you that. Maybe they were scared of it, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that would be the counter argument, but,
They're not subject to our authority,
Indeed.
ma'am, so we have
I mean,
to, you know, we would have to make a request.
And the management is subject to your authority?
no,
No.
no, they're not. I wanna be clear on this.
This
We
is a-
have no power to go to GEO and say, you must do X, Y, and Z. We have none of that. And that's where I think there's a lot of misconception. I mean, we can suggest,
We can
they've
su-
never turned us down when
No,
we've called
they've-
with a question. And remember, I'm the one who's the least comfortable with this arrangement of anybody, but we have no authority over GEO whatsoever, none.
Nor do we have any authority to close it.
That's the part, I mean.
That's the giant misnomer
And
here.
to your point, Yvonne, I mean, and look, I'm absolutely gonna vote not to be part of this, cause I definitely don't think it's the place for the county to be. But if the argument is, if we're out, would the facility still be open, and I think that's very much a yes, then we are removing ourselves from any sort of influence. That has to be taken into account, because I do think the argument that it'll close just because we choose not to participate is highly unlikely. I've seen no evidence to that, none. Nobody has come forward with anything that says, as soon as Clearfield steps out, this place is gonna go away.
So can you do more to investigate the things that are coming out? If it's not going to change, and can you be more proactive about trying to seek?
I'm just gonna put this out there. We've got CYS we oversee, we've got elections, we've
So you're
got.
too busy?
We don't have time to be out there all the time. I mean, we do, every time something like this comes up, I agree, we are reactive and not as proactive, but frankly, I don't see it as our role to be going out there and just constantly be telling them what to do. I think they
But,
would,
and a prime example of that was the hunger strike story. There was no hunger strike.
I mean, we did look into
We
that.
wasted
and
a
it
day
did seem overblown.
fielding, overblown is an understatement. It was a non-event.
And so, but that's sort of my point.
But that
You've got stories over here saying there's this hunger strike and there's worms in the food and blah, blah, and then we did a lot of work on that and found no evidence, none, that the food had anything like that. And it's like, okay.
But you didn't speak to inmates, you just got the
We spoke to
information
people who
from-
worked there who definitely would have told us. I mean, if the food was that bad, with 400 people, do you really, I mean, I'll say this, and I'll say this on the record. If our jail was serving food like that, and we've got about 30 COs, there is this much chance that it wouldn't be in the media the next day. The COs would be going out and saying, they're serving worms to our inmates.
Absolutely.
And I find it hard to believe that 400 of our residents who are working out there would lie, not just to us, but to their families and to everybody, and say, oh yeah, that just defies belief. And we've looked at the food. Now granted, people say they knew we were coming and all this stuff, but
They didn't change the menu because
what
we
point-
walked in on
yeah,
a given
because,
day.
I mean, my understanding is it's a national menu on a, what did they say, a 6-week rotation
Yeah.
or something like that, that it's not even set by them, it's set by GEO corporate, so.
They actually have to taste the food too.
Right,
I mean-
and there are.
I understand your concerns, I just am not sure, I mean, at what point are we just delving down so much that, to me, I just don't know where to go with it. And we're not gonna be out there every day, it's not gonna happen. It's not our job.
Ma'am, listen, if somebody has a concern, you certainly can bring it to our attention. We will do our best to respond to it. We just, as Dave said, we can't just drop everything and run out there every day, but we'll do our best to try to address something that we feel, at least if we believe it's a legitimate concern. We don't doubt the sincerity of a lot of the folks that come talk to us and see us. It's just, as we've tried to explain, there's limits to what we can do, and we don't always find what folks feel is going on out there, you know, to say as, I guess, as best as I can. You know.
I appreciate where you're coming from, I really do.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, to Tim's point, we need comprehensive immigration reform so that we don't even need facilities like, I mean, the fact that some of these people are going there is ridiculous, and I've said that. But, you know, whatever we decide with this, it's not gonna affect that. I mean, let's say they even closed it down, which isn't gonna happen, they would just send these people somewhere else. So this is a symptom of a larger problem. And I would like to fix the larger problem myself. but
Agreed, and
we
this is,
don't
and
have the
people
power to do it.
conflate the Moshannon Valley Processing Center with an ICE detention center. It is not. Average stay here is 43, real average stay is probably in the 20s. That 43 is skewed by some longer-term people who are involved in legal resolution. I believe last year, average, give or take 1,400 a day, almost 14,000 in and out of the facility. It is a very quick turnover processing facility for people who are facing an immigration detainer. And when people start tossing around words like concentration camp and Gestapo and whatever, that's when I've finished my conversation, because that's not realistic. Once you get into the hyperbole and the name calling, we're gonna deal with facts, we're gonna deal with facts that we can substantiate. If we do get a question, believe me, all three of us are on the phone, or we go over it, we try and find resolution to it. But like I said, the hunger strike thing was just an agreed, there were employees there that didn't even, they're like, what hunger strike? They had no idea what was being talked about. And it got fed into social media and grew legs and ran off and got bigger and became at least a regional story. And yes, that, I believe it's safe to say that tied up at least a full day of our time.
So.
Anyhow, we're kind of rehashing the same things here. I do have another meeting.
Yeah, we gotta wrap this up.
Thank you all.
When is the renewal up again?
September.
September.
We don't have any
End of
news on
September.
that yet.
Yeah.
And you've expressed your opposition to it continue. How about you two? Are you still in favor of renewing the contract?
If I had to vote today, I would still vote to renew.
Exactly.
How I'll vote at the end of September, I don't know, Jeff. But right now,
We
I
have
can tell
not,
you
we have not
September.
even begun talking with anyone formally about this, but as it sits now, I feel having at least a minor seat at the table is of value to Clearfield County and to Clearfield, and it allows us to have this conversation,
And you still get $200,000 for that.
which is,
Again, we don't have, at this very
Yeah,
moment, we do not have an offer of renewal from them.
Okay,
people-
no offer for, okay.
people are fixated on the $200,000. You add up the time it takes to deal with in a $40 million budget, it's not. And when you talk, the time we tie up in right to know request, the time we tie up in media request, the time we tie up everyday receipt, no, it's not a lot of money. The real money is the $40 million economic impact of the facility to central Pennsylvania, primarily Clearfield County, but also Center, Elk, and surrounding counties.
That's a follow-up question now, like, you said it costs a lot of resources.
You're about out of questions, Jeff. You're over your quota.
Is the 200,000 you get from it, is it essentially offset from all the time and effort you have to put into this?
Well, the way the last year has gone,
Yeah.
I'm not sure it even offsets
It
what
wasn't
we've
for a
done.
while, but.
So
If we were tracking time that closely, especially with the right to know stuff,
Probably more than 200,000?
Yeah,
It'd be close. It'd be really close.
Rates and O's tie, and it's not just, we get rates and O
And it's
requests.
our time too. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, this has taken a lot of.
We get rates and O requests from a number of different avenues, but they are time
So
consuming.
this is not a financial windfall for the
No.
county?
Definitely not.
People get
And
fixated
maybe
on that
even-
number and that's not why we're doing this.
Can I ask you a question? I'm assuming that the conversation I just walked into was in regards to providing good jobs for the community. Are you gonna stand by the fact that these are good jobs, given the stats we know on the higher rates of PTSD amongst prison guards than there is veteran? Are you still gonna call that a good job? A job that can end?
I'm not aware of what stats you're citing, and your previous history of derogatory and demeaning social media posts towards me
Pot calling the kettle black there.
in particularly leads me to discount your opinion.
You can discount all you want, but the fact
I just
remains
did.
that the rates of PTSD amongst guards are higher than that of veterans. And I wouldn't call a job to end on a contract a good job.
I have a Zoom. I'll go on too.
We don't doubt it's a tough job.
I stand with working class people. The men who work there and the women who work there are also working class people. And what private corporations don't take care of their employees the way that they don't take care of the team.
Hey, Justin,
Can I get a copy of
next Wednesday at 11.
You have to see it. What's up?
Turning the.